the late 1800s, but it's a self-propelled trolley, interurban trolley.
That's cool.
The interurban lines were kind of the prestige lines for some trolley companies. Mainly trolley systems were built to take you around town. They took you shopping, to church, to school, to work. A few trolley companies had interurban lines that went from town to town. This interurban car ran between Chicago, downtown Chicago, and the western suburbs of Aurora and Elgin. When it was originally built, it was known as the Aurora, Elgin, Chicago Railroad. Later years it became the CA&E. They just switched the names of the towns it served around, and it became the Chicago, Aurora, and Elgin. So our volunteers are trying to return this car to as it was built in 1909. By the 1940s, the steam railroads, the interurban trolley lines competed with the steam railroads, I should say. In a lot of cases, it was a lot more practical or convenient to ride the interurban trolley because the fares were cheaper. The trolley literally came to you in Chicago. It used the elevated system, which is still there today. So you didn't have to walk to the railroad station to climb aboard the trolley to get to the western suburbs. Also, the trolley probably riding it was a little more convenient as it left during rush hour, morning and evening rush hour. Departures were probably 20 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, at least a half an hour between, unlike the railroads, which were an hour between. But this was just like riding the steam-powered trains out of Chicago to the western suburbs, except it was powered by electricity. They could couple these interurban cars in 5-6 car trains, and because each interurban car was powered, they could have station stops closer together because the cars would build back up to speed with every car being powered, unlike the steam trains, which had one, maybe two locomotives pulling the entire train behind. By the 1940s, the CA&E was experiencing lower ridership, probably because the steam trains were getting a new modern air-conditioned, closed windows, diesel-propelled trains. The interurban line, CA&E couldn't afford new cars, so they rehabbed the older cars. And what they did is they took this batten board siding and they covered over the arched stained glass windows to try and convince the people we got new cars. No, they didn't. They just rehabbed the older cars. They changed the exterior color of the car. They changed the interior color of the car. So our museum volunteers are trying to return this to its 1909 configuration. Now our volunteers can do anything from the floor to the ceiling, the wheels, motors underneath. We can jack the car up. We can pull the trucks out. We can take the trucks apart. We can pull the motors out of the trucks, but we don't have facilities here to rewind motors. We can't turn axles. We can't true up wheels. We have to ship all that type of work out. But we can change motor brushes, check the commutators, fill lubrication points. So this car has 500 horsepower, 4 motors. Each motor is on 25 horsepower. You couple 6 of these cars together, that's 3,000 horsepower. That's the horsepower of today's diesel electric locomotive.
You can guess what happened. Then finally we had the 8-stall roundhouse, and on this side of it, this outcropping right here is actually known as the bus garage. Folks, that's right, the little middle of nowhere railroad here in the middle of Pennsylvania actually did in fact have a bus company. It was known as the Pioneer Trail Bus Company. And, well, they had 6 buses, and that's where they would order copies from all of them. But also, they also had a drawing department themselves, a drafting department. where they would make their own. So,
It's like a car shop.
Right now, in our shop, we have a mortise maker, and it's got, it's got two belts. It's got one side,
How many happen?
you brush a piece over.
What 2 drink bottles of water get thrown out the window?
Did you want to follow? Acquire foundation records after they started the foundation on February 14th, 2020. So what we have here is we have, Sammy and I started off doing what we call a spot inventory, and that's what you see in these bins here. We have about, I'd say 40 of these small bins. They're also upstairs in the attic, which is full of archival materials also, but we won't go to the attic. That's very dangerous to get up there. But all of these materials are what we call pre-processing, which means these materials are kind of sorted into where they came from, like the master mechanics correspondence, the break room correspondence, different administrative records that came over from across in the administrative.
I'm just going to watch all the videos. Watch the videos for the 2 hours. I'm going to binge watch.
Stickers, please.
You gonna pause that one?
Oh, so sorry. Saturday nights.
What an explanation.